Greetings, Sir and Sirettes, and welcome to this overview for the most recent patch to Robocraft, coming out on the 14th of July, Robocraft Enter the Shredzone. Now this is an absolutely immense update, with quite a few things being added, a lot of things being changed, and hopefully I can keep it as brief as possible. When the update is actually out again on the 14th, I will be posting a gameplay video of the new things which are being implemented. So let's get straight into exactly what's been added and what has been changed. The first new addition is the new legendary weapon, the Chain Shredder. The Chain Shredder is a rotating barrel weapon, which is kind of exciting and kind of awesome in a way, in that it takes a while to charge up. Now, I am sad to see that this is a legendary weapon, not an epic or a rare, and there are no smaller variants available. Essentially, after 4.5 seconds of spinning up, it starts shooting at maximum speed. At this rate, it is firing at 20 projectiles per second if you have 2 weapons, and 16 projectiles per second if you have 1 weapon. The one thing to note is that the energy is drained as soon as you start firing with this weapon, which means for the first few seconds it is incredibly inefficient in terms of the damage dealt for how much power is drained. However, once it is at full capacity, shooting at maximum fire rate, it is actually incredibly efficient. Each shot deals a whopping 11,000 damage, which means when this thing is firing at 20 rounds per second, it's dealing a whopping 220,000 damage per second, which is a lot. The power consumption, however, is quite high, so I don't know how long we will actually be able to use this before completely running out of power, but it will definitely be able to deal quite a lot of damage. The shots fired from the barrel, however, do have a 4-degree spread, which is a decent amount of inaccuracy, so really it's going to be a more medium to short range brawling weapon rather than a long range just kill absolutely everything weapon. The second addition is the new legendary module. Yes, indeed, a lot of legendaries have been added recently indeed. The EMP module. So this does exactly what you might imagine it does. It shuts down enemy robots that get caught in its range. However, it's more of a zone denial module, as it is very, very easy to dodge. A huge column of electromagnetic pulse energy is called in from your mothership, in orbit above your battlefield, covering a cylindrical area from the ground to the max ceiling, which means it will affect flyers, which are also caught in this column. It targets like the disc shield module, and after you use it, there is a 3-second countdown after the 3 seconds, and apparently there will be some visual cue to show where you're actually targeting. The massive EMP column will come down and turn off pretty much everything. Anyone who is caught within this area will have their thing shut down for 3 seconds, and by that I mean that wheels, legs and caterpillar tracks will lose power, hovers and rotors will stop spinning and generating lift, aerofoils and rudder inputs get corrupted so they twist in different directions, causing uncontrolled spins, and power is drained to 0 and regen is halted so weapons and modules cannot fire. This effect lasts for 3 seconds. That is a really horrible sounding weapon. I think this is going to be both really visually awesome, it's going to be a very cool weapon, but at the same time it's going to be infuriating if you do get caught in it. I'm hoping that the visual element before it fires is very, very obvious. Once again, I will be doing a gameplay video using the new elements at some point on the 14th. So other than this, the EMP module has a 30-second cooldown, the power cost is 1,800, the EMP blast radius, so how big it actually is 100 cubes in terms of the cylinder, and the robot CPU load is 315. I should also mention that the Shredder, the weapon I was speaking about before, is 325 CPU, so both of these are very expensive to actually mount on your robot. A bit of a minor addition, which might have some far-reaching effects in terms of robot building, is some new aero rods have been added. These are rare, just like the regular aero rods, at least according to the patch notes, and they are diagonal. That's really all you need to know. The image on the thumbnail of this video, and probably popping up right now, showcases them being used on the robot on the right for its flak weapon. They are just diagonal aero rods. You get the 3D variant and the 2D variant. The difference being that the 3D also comes out in an additional coordinate. In terms of the 2D directional rod is 3x3 on the X and Y coordinates. The 3D diagonal rod is 3x3x3 on the X, Y and Z coordinates, basically meaning it also turns or curves in addition to going completely diagonal. Is a way of explaining it, I guess. A tutorial has now been added for new players logging into the game for the first time. They will get a prompt to ask if they wish to see the tutorial, which will cover the very basics of the game. This includes how to build your robot in terms of placing blocks, how to actually enter a game, fight enemies, all the very basic components, whilst avoiding any advanced concepts. And finally, the last thing which has actually been added is there is a new single-player game mode, Team Deathmatch, with AI robots. We've added a new single-player game mode in the form of Team Deathmatch with AI bots. This is the exact same as usual, it's the regular Team Deathmatch, except for all of your teammates and all of your enemies are now the AI. We've all seen how interesting the AI can be in the current single-player mode, so I'm assuming they have been vastly improved. And this is kind of hinted at by the fact they now use lasers, rails and plasma rather than just using lasers. I'm guessing that means that it's going to be a little bit more efficient at actually hitting you rather than just firing into the air as they tend to do at the moment in the regular single player mode. Robots in this game mode are still taken from the factory with filters that exclude certain builds as the AI is not yet good enough to handle flyers, modules and advanced weapons. The aim of the new game mode is to provide a gentle route for new players to get into the full Robocraft experience by first playing the tutorial, then playing TDM with the AI robots. Completing a game of AI bots, TDM, as they call it in the patch notes, will earn you a crate with only one item in, 2 if you have premium. The game mode also has the lowest experience of any game mode, which means it really isn't the best for getting rewards from in any major way. This being said, however, if you can find a robot that can really destroy AI robots very quickly, you could potentially get quite a few rewards from this, especially since there will be no queue timer. Since this is only with the AI, there will be no waiting for other players, so let's say if the queue time is 1 minute if you're playing at a particularly unpopulated time, then possibly TDM with the AI might be a good alternative, or at least an alternative if you're really not in the mood to play anything overly competitive. With the additions now out of the way, let's have a quick look at the other things section and the bug fixes section. Now there is a lot to cover here, so I will be skipping quite a bit. If you would like to see the full patch notes, there will be a link in the description. So first of all, which is actually going to affect me, is that Vampire Wings and Rudders, Carbon 6 Thrusters and Carbon 6 Laser Disintegrators are all being downgraded from Legendary down to Epic. This means that the recycle value will be going down, so if you wish to sell any of those soon, I would recommend selling it as soon as possible, as soon as you know about this, otherwise there's a good chance they'll be turned to Epic and then the cost will go down. We are not getting a full refund like they do sometimes when they alter the stats or alter the effectiveness of certain weapons or module types or what have you. This is not happening, so if you would like to recycle them now. There is also a brand new movie in the game, which is skippable with a key press. This will play as an intro movie, which I'm hoping will be shown to both new and old players alike, not just people with brand new accounts. One more change, which has been asked for since its initial installment into the game, is that rotors and thrusters no longer tilt forwards and backwards when using the camera control steering option, allowing for easier tower attacks and more predictable control of these movement types. I'm really happy to see this because I've been trying to recently make a rotor blade controlled robot which uses the camera control steering option, and I've been failing miserably because of how much it tilts. And that's all I will be covering in this video. The reason is the rest of the patch notes really don't affect your day-to-day playing of the game. These are changes such as the smallest Tesla power consumption is now set to 0.001 so that it cannot be used with EMP. Stuff like that, along with a series of bug fixes. If you would like to see if a particular bug has been fixed, once again there will be a link to the full patch notes in the description, along with a link to the gameplay video once that is out. I'll be trying to use the new chain shredder in addition to the EMP, possibly in the new single player mode. Get them all into one glorious battle. So thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to tell me your opinion of the recent patch in the comments below. It's always nice to see how the community feels. It is a little bit weird to see so many more additions when some things I really would like to have seen fixed kind of weren't, but I think we are heading in the right direction, even if it is very expensive stuff. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly shows that Robocraft is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.